Welcome to this presentation on the Naïve Bayes classifier, one of the most elegant and efficient algorithms in machine learning. Despite its simplicity, Naïve Bayes often performs surprisingly well, especially for text classification and problems with categorical features. Now, the algorithm is called naive because it makes a simplifying assumption. It assumes all features are independent of each other given the class. While this assumption is rarely true in practice, the algorithm still works remarkably well. In this presentation, we'll apply naive Bayes to predict flight delays. Given information about a flight's day of week, departure time, origin, destination, and carrier, can we predict whether it will be delayed or on time? We'll explore probability tables, implement the multinomial NB classifier, evaluate performance with confusion matrices, and visualize results with a gains chart. So let's start with loading and pre-processing the data. We import our essential libraries including multinomial NB from scikit-learn's Naïve Bayes module. This variant of Naïve Bayes is designed for discrete features, making it perfect for categorical variables. Next, we convert features to categorical. So that's what we are going to do here, where we have one of these features which we need to convert to categorical types. For departure time, which is stored as a number like 830 for 8:30 a.m., we extract just the hour by integer dividing by 100. Once that is done, this creates hourly bins like 6, 7, 8, and so on and so forth. This binning is important. Rather than treating departure time as a continuous variable, we treat it as a categorical variable. Flights departing at 8 a.m. might have different delay patterns than flights at 6 p.m. So that's something which we do here by binning. Next, we define our predictors and outcome. Our 5 predictors are day of the week, departure time, origin airport, destination airport, and carrier. And our outcome is flight status, which is either delayed or on time. Now we use pd.getDummies to convert categorical predictors into binary indicator columns. This creates columns like carrier underscore DL for Delta, carrier underscore AA for American Airlines, or comma origin underscore BOS for origin in Boston, and so on and so forth. Now, before we run the algorithm, let's understand what Naïve Bayes is actually computing. The algorithm calculates conditional probabilities. Given that a flight is delayed, what's the probability it's on a Monday? Given that it's on time, what's the probability it's departing at 8 a.m.? So that's something which we have to calculate as prior probabilities, and that's what we are doing here. We calculate the prior probabilities. This tells us the overall proportion of delayed versus on-time flights in our training data. These are our baseline expectations before considering any specific flight characteristics. So that's here what we do. We also split the data into training and test, with training data being 60% and test being 40%. Now we create conditional probability tables in this. For each predictor, we create a probability table. The pivot table function counts flights in each combination of flight status and the predictor. Then we divide by row sums to get proportions. So that's what we are doing here. We are getting the proportion by dividing by row sum. So reading these tables, for instance, for day of week, we might see that among delayed flights, 15% occur on Monday, while among on-time flights, 14% occur on Monday. These differences, though small individually, combine across all predictors to inform predictions. Now this is the essence of naive Bayes. Multiply all these conditional probabilities together with the prior probability to get a score of each class. The class with the highest score wins. So that's what we are going to do here. We are going to first run this. So it is running here. Now we have got the flight status: on time 82%, delayed about 18%. And these are the days of the week, 7 days of the week. How many were delayed on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, delayed and on time. And then we have these departure times, which have been categorized into these bins. Now we see 0 after that 5, which means in between from 1 a.m. until 5 a.m. there were no flights. But after that we have time basically converted into these bins, and for each of those bins, delayed and on time, we have some numbers that tells us how many delayed and how much, what proportion was on time. Then we also have similarly for origin, Atlanta, Austin, Boston, etc., how many were delayed and on time based on that. And then we have the destination, again all these cities with delayed and on time information that we get here. And then finally carrier, American Airlines, etc., what exactly are the delayed and on time status for these airlines. That is something which we get as part of our probability table. Right, so that's what we have now obtained in this calculation. Now once we have created the probability tables, next what we are going to do is we will create a multinomial NB classifier. So much of the code that you see here is identical to what we had earlier. It's just importing all the libraries and modules and then creating those categorical variables, etc. So the difference starts at this point. This is where we are running the naive Bayes classifier, and we are running multinomial NB with an alpha equals 0.01. This is a parameter. Alpha parameter is for Laplace smoothing, also called additive smoothing. Now why smoothing? Imagine a category that never appears in delayed flights during training. Now without smoothing, its probability would be 0, and any flight with that category would have 0 probability of being delayed, no matter what other features suggest. Smoothing, what it does is it adds a small count to every category, preventing 0 probabilities. Now alpha equals 0.01 is a small smoothing value, meaning we trust the data but protect against zeros. So that's what we are doing here. And then we make predictions. So that's what we are doing in this. The predict underscore PROBA is the command that we use for that, for the training set, validation set. And then we also predict class membership for the validation set. So that's what we are doing here. Predict returns the actual class prediction based on which probability is higher. These predicted classes will then be compared against actual outcomes to evaluate our performance. So that's what we are doing in this case. Once we have done that, we also classify a specific flight to see whether we have predicted it correctly, what exactly our prediction for that flight is, whether it's delayed or on time, and whether what we predicted is similar to what actually happened. So here what we are doing is the specific flight is a delta flight. So DL is the delta carrier is equal to 1. We're looking at Sunday. So 7 is Sunday equals 1. We're looking at departure time, which is 8 a.m. Slot, because we have created bins for this, which is equal to 1. We're looking at a destination of San Francisco, which is equal to 1, and then origin of Boston, which is equal to 1. So this is basically highlighting a specific flight for which we want to know what the actual is, what the predicted is, and we also want to know what the predicted probability is. So let's run this code here. And what we find is that the actual was on time. This is a flight, and this predicted is also on time, and this is our probability of delayed versus being on time. So on time probability is higher, so we predict it to be on time. So that's what we have done here. The output shows the actual status, predicted status, and the probability estimates for each matching flight. This lets us see exactly how the model is performing on specific routes and times. So it's very helpful in that way. Now we are going to evaluate the model with confusion matrix. So what we're going to do first is to evaluate our classifier. We use a custom function, which is our classification summary, that displays a formatted confusion matrix along with accuracy. So confusion matrix shows us not just overall accuracy, but the types of errors our model makes. So that's what we will do here. Again, importing everything that we need, accuracy score, something which we will later on use. So this is the classification summary, a custom function that we are going to create. And we are going to then print the confusion matrix, which will have 4 cells. It'll have true negative, it'll have false positive, it'll have false negative, and it'll have true positive. Right? So that's something which the confusion matrix is going to do. So that will help us then determine how well the model has done. Now, the training confusion matrix output is what we will look at here, and then we will also look at it on the validation set performance, because ultimately the validation set is what matters over here. So we will look at both the evaluation on the training set. This shows how well the model fits the data it learned from, and then training accuracy gives us an upper bound on expected performance. And after that, we will also run it for the validation set. So that's what you'll see as we go further down. So this is for the training set, and this is for the validation set. The rest of them is essentially what we had just first. We create that classification summary function. We are loading the data. So some of that we just did again, what we had already done. This also was done earlier. So just a repetition of what was done. And then this was also something, a bin. So I'm just basically repeating some of the things that were done earlier just for pedagogical sake. But ultimately the goal here is to run this classification summary to the training set and the validation set and see how the results look like. So we are now going to run this and see how the model works. So the accuracy is 0.82, 82% accuracy. We have the confusion matrix for training set with 82% accuracy, and the confusion matrix for the validation set or testing set, which is at the accuracy of also around 82%. So it's pretty close to each other, which is giving us confidence that the model is doing a good job. Once we compare them, if they are similar, the model generalizes well. If training is much higher, the model might be overfitting the training set. Though Naïve base is generally resistant to overfitting due to its simplicity. Right, so that's what we have done here. We can also look at the confusion matrix cells for each. For flight delays, false negatives might be more costly than false positives, because a passenger would rather be warned about a potential delay that doesn't happen than be surprised by one that does happen. So that's something which also these numbers are helpful to understand what exactly is going on with respect to false positives and false negatives. Now we create the gains chart after this. The gains chart, also called a cumulative gains chart, provides a visual assessment of model quality. It answers the question: if we rank flights by predicted probability of delay, how quickly do we capture actual delays? So here is where we are going to go through that. So we are going to define a function gains chart, which will help us visualize that gains chart. We're importing all those modules and libraries that we need. And then this is where we will be bringing the gains chart up and showing the plot. So we create a data frame, a lot of that, what we have already seen before. And then this is the data frame that we are creating with actual outcomes and predicted probabilities. And then we sort by probability in descending order. So flights most likely to be delayed come first, And then the gains chart function plots cumulative actual delays as we move through this sorted list. Okay, so when we run this, we will see the gains chart. Let's run this. Now we can see that the chart has two lines, a dashed line, which is a diagonal line, which represents the random selection. So if we randomly selected flights, we'd capture delays at a constant rate, as this dashed line shows. And the curved line, it represents our model. But number of records, if we choose that, and what's the cumulative gain had we chosen random versus had we considered our cumulative our model. So with 1000 records, if we take that here, it's about 150 is what we would have captured here. But with our model, it goes up to about 250, so 225 or so. So that is sort of the cumulative gains that we get in terms of identifying potential delays from our model. So with that, I conclude this presentation on naive Bayes classifier, and I hope that you found this helpful. Thank you.